Greetings, fellow cinephiles. Today's pretty simple. Just gonna run down my top 50 films, my favorite 50. Don't want to take too much time on any of these, so we're gonna go pretty quick. But yeah, I was gonna do a honorable mentions list. Is quick name a few honorable mentions, but there's so many great films that didn't make this list. It was really hard to make this list. We're just gonna start it off here with number 50. It's gonna be Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka is a film that I grew up with. A lot of nostalgia for this film, and I think it holds up. Uh, yeah, it actually made me want to own a chocolate factory at some point. Willy Wonka just making the cut over Mary Poppins. I was very close to putting Mary Poppins on this list, but decided I had more strong nostalgic ties to Willy Wonka. Uh, just love the character Willy Wonka. Gene Wilder, a great actor, probably my favorite performance from him. Kind of a fantastical edge to this chocolate factory with very dark undertones as well. It's just a classic and one of my favorites. Moving on to number 49 is Everything Everywhere All at Once. What a movie! Uh, uh, Going in, did not expect to like this movie as much as I did, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of surrealist absurdity, like just absurdism. But man, this movie does it right. It's grounded in reality in its main focus, which is the family dynamic there between the mom and the daughter and even the husband. I feel like that's the anchor to this film, where everything else is going crazy, and at the center, kind of like a donut, you might say, it's this family dynamic that keeps the film grounded for me. So yes, Everything Everywhere All at Once, fantastic film, and references other great films, great films that did not make it on this list, unfortunately. Which is crazy to me because every time a film pops up in there that I love, I'm like, wow, it's that film. I can't believe they referenced that film. But yeah, this is just a fantastic film and deserving of the top 50. Number 48 is a film I did not expect to make this list, but is a great film. Is Star Trek II Wrath of Khan. Growing up, I've always been more of a Star Wars fan, but man, I recently, this was a few years ago, started actually watching Star Trek, the original series, and liked it a lot. And so I started watching the movies. First one, hmm, hmm, I don't know, but the second one, Wrath of Khan, ooh, that's a film right there. Kind of drawing back to the show with Khan, some nice overall theming as well with Kirk dealing with his age, and of course the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. One of those. It's a nice action film, but it also has some great thematic weight to it, which is something I like. I do like the balance there, and I think it comes out really well. So yeah, number 48, Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan. My number 47, just to let you know up front, there's going to be a lot of animation films on this list, and we're going to kick it off here with Tarzan. Tarzan, a lot of nostalgia, a lot of love for this film. First Disney film to appear on the list. There's gonna be a few of those. Don't you worry. But yeah, for Tarzan, maybe one of my favorite soundtracks. Uh, I love the Lion King soundtrack. That's probably my favorite. But yeah, Tarzan soundtrack, very much a favorite of mine. I like Clayton. He's kind of an underrated Disney villain in my eyes. I can't really pinpoint what it is about this film that I like it so much. Maybe it's just a bunch of nostalgia. I had it, played it a lot, because I can't really pinpoint anything. Maybe just the soundtrack. I really just a big fan of the soundtrack. One of my favorite couples, I guess. The romance is pretty good in Tarzan. So what can I say? It's Tarzan, number 47. Number 46. I'm I'm kind of some of these ones that just made it. I might uh some of the ones that just made it. I'm looking back and I'm like, man, those were decisions. But that's where I'm going with. Number 46, Guardians of the Galaxy. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the only MCU movie on this list. But, mm, okay, we'll cross that bridge when we get to that. But yeah, the only, I'm gonna just say the only MCU movie on this list, even though there's some debatable ones going forward. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. It was close between Guardians of the Galaxy and Black Panther. I love both those films. It was very close, but I just like the trope of the band of individuals coming together to form a group, making something greater than the sum of its parts. It, I like the dynamic between all the characters. I like, I guess the sequels and the MCU stuff kind of the sequels and the MCU stuff kind of maybe are getting scooped in here for my level Guardians, but I think the first one is the strongest of the three. Second one, maybe, but I'm just gonna go with the first one just because it's a nice quality, it's a nice time, a good time. It is more of a popcorn film, I would say, but it is not devoid of artistic thematic value. So, something I am very the mixing of those two, something I really look for in films, and I think that might be apparent in this and the future movies on this list. But yeah, number 46, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 45 is my favorite of the Studio Ghibli movies, Princess Mononoke. Uh, I know there's a lot of love for Spirited Away, House Moving Castle, but for me, Princess Mononoke is the best of them. Pretty low. I expected it to be higher, but there were just some other films that I just felt stronger about. But yeah, big fan of Princess Mononoke. Maybe the theme, the message is a bit stronger than I would typically like. Huh. It's kind of hard to speak of artistic value when talking about anime movies because I'm not talking about the animation, but the animation is gorgeous in this movie. But yes, very uh, my speed when it comes to movies like this. It meshes well with me, and I just think it's a brilliant film. So, yeah, number 45, Princess Mononoke. On to number 44 here with the first sequel. No, Star Trek 2. Ah, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, another sequel here in Rocky 3. It was really hard for me to leave Rocky off, but I just like Rocky 3 more. It is less on the artistic end and more on the popcorn end, very much on the popcorn side of things. But I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the inclusion of one of my favorite songs, Eye of the Tiger. Uh, Maybe it's seeing Rocky and Creed work together. Mr. T. Uh, there is a bit of a wrestling in it. I'm a big pro wrestling fan, although less said about that the better. Oh, Rocky 3, just a great time. And one I would, if I had to rewatch any of the Rockies, I'd pick Rocky 3. Even though I would say probably Rocky is just better on an objective level, but I prefer Rocky 3. It's not on this list, but it's the same with Die Hard and Die Hard with a Vengeance. I prefer Die Hard with a Vengeance, but I can admit Die Hard is probably the better film. But yeah, almost made the list was Die Hard with a Vengeance, but it just couldn't get in there. Number 43 is one that I was pretty recent. Watched this pretty recently for the first time. I say that, but it was like 5 years ago. But yeah, it was Groundhog Day. And yeah, I had heard great things about this movie. Finally decided to give it a try, and yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty funny. Just a great concept that I've seen done numerous times, but I feel like this movie does it the best. Yeah, I mean, kind of almost turned into a horror movie at some aspects. But yeah, it's just a great concept, and I think anyone who's watched the film has kind of contemplated what they would do if they were stuck in a loop, always waking up on the same day. But yeah, A funny movie, a great movie, Groundhog Day, number 43. My number 42 almost didn't make it actually because when I was looking through all the films I had logged onto Letterboxd, I had almost missed this film. And it's only through going back I saw it and decided to put it on this list. It is Rear Window, my favorite Alfred Hitchcock film. Funnily enough, in adding this, my number 50 was going to be Psycho. It was going to be Psycho, then Mary Poppins, and Willy Wonka and Rear Window added on and kind of knocked those two off. But yeah, Rear Window, I just like the tension. Um, maybe I could have gone for Rope because I like Rope a lot. But I think just Rear Window. Yeah, I like Rear Window just a little bit better, and I think it's much stronger than Rope. I'm gonna try and not spoil any of these films too much, but halfway through, as he's watching things transpire, I'm thinking it's all just I'm thinking it's not real. I think it's all in his head. I won't speak further on that, but if you've seen the movie, you know what happens. But yeah, that's my number 42, Rear Window. Number 41 is, I think, the movie I most recently watched. Or maybe it was Everything Everywhere All at Once. But, like, not too long before that, I had watched this film for the first time, Parasite. One of my favorite foreign films. Yeah, you're going through the movie and then it twists so hard that it's almost jarring how, like, this reveal no, like the reveal itself is just so like what is happening, and I so much I might the opinions I took away from this movie are kind of different from what other people took from this movie, at least from what I've seen online about who the parasite is, I guess. Um I can see it both ways, but a great film. Oh, and then the drawing being tied into what was actually happening behind the scenes, that blew my mind. The Rock, if you know what I'm talking about, you know it's so good. I love this film. Yeah, my number 41. Number 40 is a film that I just can't help but love. Is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Now, the original Puss in Boots, let me actually go back further to the Shrek franchise. Puss in Boots is my favorite character within the Shrek franchise. We might actually have to addendum that. But Puss in Boots' favorite character from the Shrek franchise, so when he came out with his own movie, I was really excited. I watched it, it was fine, it was enjoyable. But then they came out with Puss in Boots 2: The Last Wish. And for the trailers, I wasn't gonna, I was skeptical. I was skeptical. But then I kept hearing, oh, this is great. This is fantastic. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a watch. And sure enough, it's fantastic. What an upgrade. I'm not gonna say it's the biggest jump from one to the second one, like the first film to the second film. It's not the biggest jump I've experienced, but it is a jump. This film juggles so many aspects and does them all so well. And of course, the villain is giving Puss in Boots a run for his money for my favorite uh, DreamWorks character. It is so good. Um, but despite that, despite my love for this movie, there's one more DreamWorks film I feel is stronger. They do go maybe back and forth a bit, but I think I gotta stick to my guns. This next film, number 39, Shrek 2. Um, it might just be nostalgia, and maybe in a few years I'll commit to putting Puss in Boots 2 above Shrek 2, but for now, Shrek 2 is gonna sit here at number 39. This is also a nice at least for me personally, a jump from the first film to the second film. The first film, it has its place. I enjoy Shrek 1, but Shrek 2, it has, I feel like there's just more work in here. Doubles down on the themes from the first one, but also introduces other film. It also introduces other themes in and just loops everything into a nice little bow. I think only flaw I have with this as opposed to the first one is Donkey is a bit sidelined. I feel maybe Fiona doesn't have as much to do, but I feel like the jokes hit for me. They hit harder than the first one. I think they do a better job at roping in the side characters. Puss in Boots, a great addition. Fairy Godmother, and of course the iconic song. Yeah, what can I say about this film that hasn't already been said? Number 39, Shrek 2. Looking at my 38, I just realized how many sequels, like the second movie of a franchise, I have on this list. Because, well, technically, if you want to get technical about this, this is the fifth film in this franchise. It's Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. What a, it's the best Star Wars film. For me personally, it's the only one I would put anywhere near this list. New Hope, it's great. It's an important film, but to me, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, that's peak Star Wars. Of course, going in, I already knew the twist. I already knew everything basically going into this film, and still, it captured my imagination pretty much. For me, whenever I think Star Wars, I think of this film, and it's my favorite of all of them. But before I move on, I'm actually gonna say, uh, Darth Vader, what a great antagonist. Um, I love Yoda. Yoda's my favorite Star Wars character. I love the mentor trope, the Paragon. Uh, what my that is my favorite type of character, and unfortunately, most of those types of characters die. And I'm like, why? But yeah, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, great film, number 38. Number 37 might actually be the film I watched most recently. This is like the most recent edition. I watched this for the first time, I think a year ago, and it is Anatomy of a Fall. I went on a kind of a foreign film kick, and this was the best one I had watched out of that span of time. It's just got so many little things that intrigue me. They have the blind son. You have the I'm kind of explaining the beginning, and I don't want to. Maybe I shouldn't say anything. Let's just say a character falls to their death, and I'm actually torn on how much I should say about this film. If you haven't watched it and you have a tolerance of foreign films, I say that only because I know there's people out there who will not watch foreign films. I know a few of those people, and it, uh, it saddens me that they won't be able to ingest films like this because films like this are kind of what I'm about. It's so good. It's I don't want to give too much away. If you know, you know. In trying not to say anything about this film, I haven't talked about this film at all. But you know what? We're just going to leave it like that. Number 37, Anatomy of a Fall, a great film. Here we go. Number 36. This is the film that, like, is it technically MCU now? It's Sam Raimi's Spider Man. Uh, I haven't been saying the directors of any of these. I feel like it's important to say Sam Raimi's Spider Man in order to make sure you know what I'm talking about. Because there's so many Spider Man movies, Spider Man, if you will. Um, I will say, I think Spider Man 2 of the Sam Raimi Spider Mans is better but I have a lot more nostalgia with the first one. And of course, it's got Macho Man in it. And of course, I am a big uh, pro wrestling fan, so seeing Macho Man in there was quite a joy as a young moviegoer. Um, and yeah, Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin. What a stroke of genius casting that is. Like Willem Dafoe might actually appear on this list more than any other actor, which is kind of weird, but it's also kind of cool. We'll have to. I'm trying to think. I don't think any. Nothing. No one's coming to mind. Mark Hamill, perhaps. We'll see. We'll see. But yes, Spider-Man. mm, what a just a fun film, I'd say. Just kind of one of the first superhero movies that I got into, and I'm a Batman fan, but I think this movie elevated Spider-Man. Spider-Man's probably my number three favorite superhero. Uh, we're gonna get to my second favorite here, and I think it's the very next one, so we might as well go on to it. Number 35 is Blade. Again, I do think the second one might be objectively better, but I just have more nostalgia for Blade. I will say Matrix is not on this list, but whenever I think of like 90s cool, it's like Blade and Matrix, and I just personally prefer Blade, but I will admit Matrix is probably a better film. The character is one of my favorites, second favorite superhero. Just love the cheesy vibe, but also like the late 90s cool factor of it. It's a perfect mix for me. I think it's very influential. I believe it's the first rated R superhero movie, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I just like this movie a lot. Maybe I shouldn't admit this, but as a young movie goer, Blade Trinity was my favorite of the Blades. I've grown up, rewatched them, and I can admit that, oh, what a, I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe it had Triple H in it, I don't know. But yeah, Blade, great film. And my number 35. Maybe I didn't order these particularly well, because next up is oh, I almost misspoke. I was gonna say my favorite superhero film. Close, but no, but it is The Dark Knight. What a film, man. Um, yeah, I'm a huge Batman fan. I grew up with Batman in the animated series. It's gonna be evident in a few picks later down the line. But yeah, watching Batman Begins, seeing the little Joker tease there at the end, and then waiting for this film, seeing it, the Heath Ledger Joker performance, that's the chef's kiss. Mwah. Even aside from Heath Ledger's Joker, I feel like everything else in the film is great. Of course, it is Heath Ledger's Joker that I think elevates this film to the heights it sits at. But what a gritty take on mainstream Batman. You can't get too gritty, but I think they got pretty gritty, and I enjoy this movie quite a bit. I would venture to say it's up there for the best superhero movie. Um, I have stated, uh, not really a Batman film, but we will get to one I do think is a great Batman film here in a bit. Uh, but yeah, number 34, Dark Knight. Number 33, my favorite Quentin Tarantino film. Kind of surprised only one of them made it on. Was Ekin at Reservoir Dogs, but I feel like these other films were, I just liked them more. This one, however, big fan of Django Unchained. Um, yeah, I think it's like one of the only ones of his that have like a straight up happy ending. Uh, I also like westerns. I do like the Hateful Eight. Hateful Eight kind of gets put down low as maybe Quentin Tarantino's least popular film. I like Hateful Eight, and but it is not Django Unchained. I like the Western aspect. I like Christoph Waltz. Um, not his more. Definitely has a more iconic character in Hans Landa, but I love him as the Doctor here. Uh, everyone's great. It's just a great film. Growing in, I think this was the first Quentin Tarantino movie I watched. Going in, I was scared that the violence would be too much for me. And it's getting there, but I was able to pull through, and I'm glad I did. A great film, number 33, Django Unchained. All right, here we go. My favorite superhero film. It is number 32, Mask of the Phantasm. Batman, Mask of the Phantasm, I should say. Yeah, as I said, grew up with Batman the Animated Series, and this is basically the Batman Animated Series, the movie. I think this is quintessential Batman character, at least, you know, condensed down to a child-friendly product. I say that, but Batman the Animated Series is pretty adult. Um, and as is this movie. I like the mystery. I, I believe I believe I knew who the Phantasm was, but maybe I'm misremembering because I did watch this as a child. The only other person I would put up in terms of Jokers with Heath Ledger is Mark Hamill as the Joker in the Batman animated series. Jack Nicholson, props to Jack Nicholson, a great Joker for the Batman there, and big fan of the Batman as well. Well, wait, not sorry, Batman '89, and then I am also a fan of the Batman, the recent one. I'm getting sidetracked here, but a great film, Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. Yeah, I had to put this on this list. Even if it's not, even if I would not pick this to sit down and watch it on a random day, still have to pick this film because it just hooked me with the, just got the creative juices flowing like no other film. Maybe not no other film, but this is up there with a film that just made me want to create. This is Citizen Kane. What a just a masterpiece. Like the groundbreaking cinematography, the transitions, and just a great story as well. I will say not the most digestible for a general audience, but if you're into films, I highly recommend this film. What a just a staple of early cinema, and it deserves to be on this list. Um, Probably the one I'd least be willing to rewatch, but I will rewatch this one day. And be sure this is probably one of the only films I'll be sitting there with a notepad trying to take notes because this film just makes me want to pick up a camera and make a film. Number 31, Citizen Kane. My number 30, I'm a big fan of murder mysteries, whodunits. I'm kind of surprised this is the only one to make the list, but it is Knives Out. When I went into this, didn't think I'd see anything new. It was around, I want to say 2018. I really got into Agatha Christie books. Uh, Devoured a lot of those. Started watching whodunit shows and movies, and finally, when this came out, I was I was ready. My appetite was not satiated. This film, I don't want to say reignited the love of murder mysteries and whodunits because it was already there, and it wasn't dwindling at all. But man, it added fuel to the fire. Let's put it like that. Great cast. Uh, I love Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc. I'm glad I get to follow the journey of another detective. Uh, Sometimes when I watch whodunit films, I'm missing that familiar detective feel. Like whenever I read something with Poirot or even Sherlock Holmes, even although he's gonna, or even Batman when he's doing mystery stuff, I guess. And, for the world's greatest detective, he doesn't really do a lot of mystery solving. And Scooby Doo, of course. Scooby, I will say, before I continue, Scooby Doo and the Cyber Chase almost made this list my personal favorite Scooby Doo, although I will acquiesce to the fact that Zombie Island is probably the best Scooby movie. But yeah. But anyway, Knives Out, just a great mystery, a great tension-filled ride that had me on the edge of my seat, and that's really all I want out of a movie, at least movies of this genre. But yeah, my number 30, Knives Out. My number 29 is just a straight classic. I don't know what else it needs to be said. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. My favorite Western. I'm not like out of the romanticized eras of history, Wild West not up there for me. But this film made me want to be there. I like the gunslinging. I is the Man with No Name is great. I did watch Fistful of Dollars, and for a few dollars more, is that what it's called? Is it a fistful of dollars or is it for a fistful of dollars? I believe it's just a fistful of dollars. Hopefully, I'm not making a fool out of myself. But yeah, I watched those two first, and then this. I mean, it's called the Dollars Trilogy, but man, you could just watch this on its own. The actor plays someone in the second one, and then an actor plays someone completely different in the third one. It's kind of weird. But yeah, I like all three of them. But yeah, this is the best by far. And it's just what a script, what a concept to have the good, the bad, and the ugly, kind of a three-way dance type deal here going on, and it's just a fun ride. Pretty long, and maybe not the greatest for a general audience, but yeah, again, if you like film, even if you just like westerns, I can't recommend this one enough. Number 28, kind of, I don't know if it's actually the movie. I don't know if it's due to the movie's strengths that I'm putting it here, but I'm a big Simpsons fan, so the Simpsons movie had to make my list. Oh, yeah. Simpsons, my favorite show. Similar to movies, I like the mix of intellectual jokes and lowbrow, common man jokes. And when you merge them, those are some of my favorite. It's just magic for me. And The Simpsons, I feel, does it better than anyone else. Yeah, and the Simpsons movie, just a crescendo of the greatness that was early Simpsons. Um, I am a fan of. Let me put this delicately. I think modern Simpsons is good. I don't think it's as great as the classic Simpsons, that golden era of like season 2 to like season 9. But as we're gearing up to season 40, I do. There are some gems in there, and I think the overall quality is not its worst. I, I'd venture to say it's even good. There are some very artistic, outside the box episodes that are among some of my favorites. But yeah, when ended up talking about the show, it was the movie. I might have cried when I first watched this. The ice, the wedding video scene, man. Homer and Marge. I don't know. They like my TV parents, I guess. I would not want them as my parents, but they're kind of my TV parents. So I really feel for them whenever they go through trials of marriage, and this is probably the best version of that, I would say. And what a callback to the show to have the oh gosh, the Why Do Birds Suddenly Appear song. Um, Close to You by the Carpenters, because it was used previously in the show to as a Marge's and Homer's song, kind of. I think this really hammered it home. Well, it's just funny, got that old Simpsons charm to it. Uh, I think does a great job with juggling the characters. I do kind of wish there's a little piece of me that wishes they would have gone with the first idea of having Hank Scorpio be the villain. I think that would have been great, especially for us Simpsons nerds. But Russ Cargill, he's fine. They got the same voice actor Albert Brooks to voice him, and yeah, I think even like the sidest of side characters get screen time here, and it's just a fun ride for a guy who likes The Simpsons a lot. So yeah, number 28, The Simpsons movie. Number 27 is just Goodfellas. What a serious but also funny movie. Just tense, but also just makes me laugh. I don't know. Maybe that's not the intention to make me laugh, but whenever Joe Pesci gets angry, I'm like, maybe that's due to a film coming up later. Joe Pesci showing up in two of these films. I do really like these crime, uh, tension-filled crime mob movies. These tension-filled mob movies that I just kind of eat them up. After I got into The Godfather, just kind of anything that gives me that same vibe, I'm like, I eat it up. It's so good. I think I gotta rewatch this one because it's been a while. So I might have to rewatch this. Maybe it will go up and down. But yeah, that's my number 27, Goodfellas. Another sequel coming up here at number 26, Terminator 2. I just prefer it to the first one. Yeah, and just quintessential action movie in my opinion. Um, yeah, there's like Die Hard, this one, and there's another one I put up there. But yeah, Terminator 2, just a great. It's that mix again of popcorn films, but it's got that artistic value. It's got that thematic base there. So if you really want to think about it, you can. But you can also just turn your brain off and just enjoy this two robots fighting over the life of this kid. You know, is the best films do that. Some of the best films do that, and I think this film does it maybe better than any other film. Just a classic. The effects are, probably groundbreaking. You know, and it's also the characters are smart as well, and it's just the character building there as well. At Sarah Connor, John Connor, and the Terminator, of course, and and the villain, what a scary villain! Like what a menacing, terrifying villain. And then I knew the twist that the Terminator, who was the villain in the last film, was good, but the it, that moment where he reveals his true colors is just great. I think they plotted out for that reveal expertly, and I kind of like this whole movie's kind of iconic. But yeah, that's my pick. 26, Terminator 2. Hey yo, editor Cameron here. I'm halfway done editing this thing and I figured it's way too long, so I'm gonna cut this video in half and upload two different videos. Gonna go from 50 to 26, uh, and then 25 to 1. So be on the lookout for that. Should be going in a few days there. And until next time, farewell, fellow files.